Hey, guess what, Shota? I'm about to complete 3 months of cashlessness. For the past 90 days, I've hardly touched paper money or metal coins.
Really? I still carry cash with me, but I was caught off guard the other day when I bought a slice of pizza. The pizza guy told me he no longer takes cash. That was a bit of a shock.
You don't say. So, how did you pay?
Luckily, I had my credit card on me, but it seemed weird to use it to pay just a couple of dollars for a slice of pizza.
These days, you can pay for nearly everything with a credit or debit card or a smartphone. In fact, I just read a study that found 25% of Americans no longer carry any cash with them at all.
Welcome to the cashless society. The way money changes hands has evolved rapidly in the past 10 years or so. It's a whole new ballgame, especially in the restaurant industry. These days, more eateries shun cash and only accept credit cards, debit cards, or apps. And many others are testing that strategy. No cash policies seem to be spreading in other sectors, too.
I see. Why is that? What's wrong with good old-fashioned cash anyway?
Well, restaurant owners and other people in the retail sector say using plastic instead of dollars is more efficient. They spend less time counting bills and coins. There's less chance of pilferage, and there are no armored car fees or fear of robbery. Businesses who've gone cashless are very positive about the results.
Yes, going cashless makes good business sense. Fact is, cash slows down the pace of work at retail businesses. It also exposes them to increased risk of accounting errors and theft, or being paid with counterfeit bills. In contrast, payments made with debit or credit cards are instant and secure.
Another reason businesses like cashless transactions is that they're a very useful source of information about consumers' spending habits. That helps companies market goods and services more effectively.
All of that sounds very plausible, but are there any downsides to going cash-free, Chuck?
Oh, sure. For one thing, tipping isn't exactly easy. You can put gratuities on your card when you pay a taxi fare. But it's a different story with, say, valets and barbers. They still want to be tipped in cash. And here in New York, they're not afraid to say so. My girlfriend has saved the day for me a few times by loaning me cash when I needed to leave a cash tip. I pay her back through a friend-to-friend payment app. But for the most part, I've found it remarkably easy to live a cashless life.
You can see signs of the move to a cashless society everywhere. One obvious example is how ATMs are fast becoming an endangered species. No need for the cash run.
And let's not forget that cash can aid and abet all sorts of undesirable behavior. Drug dealers, illegal arms traders, tax cheats, and human trafficking outfits all rely on cash to carry out their business. If cash becomes obsolete, it will be a whole lot harder for these unscrupulous characters to keep their operations going.
Plus, coins and especially paper money are dirty and can transmit all sorts of germs and diseases. The expression filthy lucre has a literal as well as a figurative meaning, you know.
Interesting. The U.S. is certainly miles ahead of Japan in this regard. Japan is still very much a cash-based society, unlike China and South Korea, which are well on their way to becoming cashless. Would you say it's the end of the road for cash here in the U.S.?
We're still not quite there yet. The fact is, about 7% of Americans don't have bank accounts. They lead a completely cash-oriented life. A cashless society would leave them high and dry, unable to function economically. And let's not forget that more than a third of the people between 18 and 37 don't have credit cards. Then there's the harsh reality that many people have trouble dealing with the technology needed to make digital payments.
The problem here, as I see it, is that by no longer accepting cash, businesses are basically telling lower income and young people to take their business elsewhere.
Many people think it should be against the law for retail businesses not to accept cash, or to charge customers differently depending on the payment method they use.
Sweden also has made huge progress in becoming a cashless society. My sister and her family recently went there for a holiday. They were surprised to find that even on trams and buses you can't use cash, let alone shops and restaurants. Sweden has been able to do that because of mobile platforms that make it simple and easy to make digital payments.
Shota, I'm surprised to hear that Japan is lagging behind in making the transition to a cashless society. I thought that Japan was always ahead of the curve when it came to technological innovation.
Well, yes and no, Chuck. In some respects, Japan is very high-tech, but it can also be very conservative and set in its ways. Cash is still king. Credit cards are gradually becoming more widely used, but people still carry cash around with them as a matter of course. But Japan's increasingly serious labor shortage is giving a big push to the trend toward cashless transactions.
Did you know there are now prepaid debit cards that parents can give to their children instead of an allowance? That lets parents keep track of their kids' spending and hopefully saving habits.
I'll say one thing for going cashless. There's a new spring in my step, because I'm not weighed down by the coins in my pocket anymore.